Respected panelists on the dais, honorable senior officers from Government of India as well as the state governments, representatives from the industry, and respected invitees. Well, there is a lot of time constraint. I was reminded of the time, that is 10 minutes. I don't know whether I could be able to do justice in these 10 minutes, but I'll try my best. For the first 5 minutes, I would like to present my views on the education today, and the next 5 minutes would be a small presentation of what are the various innovations that we have taken up in CBSE. All of you are aware that education is a continuous and spontaneous process. And learning is a continuous and spontaneous process. Whether we like it or not, it goes on. And there is a lot of change in the generations, the mindset, the behavioral aspects, and attitudes of the children. There is a lot of change. And we are not able to cope up with the present generation of students. And we need a change. Innovation is also a continuous process in the field of education. And today's education, in fact, doesn't address the problems of the children and also the needs of the country. The education which was there several years before is being harped upon, and we are still depending upon the same kind of system of the traditional education. And this traditional education is just to test the child in physics, chemistry, and mathematics. And the parental mindset is also such that if the child gets 90% or 95% of the marks in these subjects, he is a very bright child. This is a very unfortunate situation that is going on. The children coming out of this system are failures in the society. They're not being taught what is needed for their personality development. Even the parents and the society is also very much conscious about the child's development in the academic areas rather than the personality development areas. And there is a need, urgent need rather, to address these issues. One of the major issues that we are encountering today in the school situation is the discipline. Indiscipline is growing everywhere, untouched and unaddressed. Discipline is also to be taught in the schools. Now that is a situation because of the change in attitudes and the behavioral aspects. We need to tell the student, we need to teach the students in the classroom itself. Rather, we need to integrate in the curriculum itself about the aspect of discipline. Fundamental rights are guaranteed by Constitution. Doesn't matter that we should walk in the middle of the road. Every child must be taught to know that the fragment of discipline must be combined with the freedom. Freedom is guaranteed by the Constitution. Fundamental duties are given in the textbook, but no teacher takes pain to explain the child what are the fundamental duties. The child's mindset is that they have freedom, and the freedom is guaranteed, and therefore they can do anything as they feel. So this kind of situation is prevailing in the society, and this is a very dangerous kind of system, and all of you need to join hands to eradicate such kind of system. Innovation in education is highly essential today, and there is an urgent need to integrate skills with the education. Skill education, we are talking about the skill education for quite a long time. We are not new to the vocational education. Vocational education has been going on for the last so many years, but still there is a mindset from the children, the teachers, and the parents that skill education is inferior to the traditional education. But the fact lies that when this skill education is not combined with the traditional education for the child, when the child coming out of the schools, and they are cutting a very sorry figure in the society, because they are fit for nothing in the society. They are not able to employ themselves. We are talking about the unemployability, but the reality lies that we are producing children we are training children in one direction, whereas something is needed in the other direction. We know that the industry, there are certain needs of the industry. There is a lot of employment in the industry in various fields, various sectors. But the problem here is we are not training the children towards the needs of the industry. We are producing only the graduation, the post-graduation, the doctorates, who doesn't know any values, the morals, the ethics, and also to behave in the society. And they do not know any kind of skill. Earlier system, education system, that was at least combined with some kind of a skill, what we call this SCPW. But now that portion is also has been left out. And only we are concentrating on learning theoretically the physics, chemistry, and mathematics. And every child wants to become an engineer or a doctor. How many doctors we produce and how many engineers we produce. And the fact lies that an engineer is employed somewhere for 5,000 rupees a month, whereas a child coming out of the Polytechnic and the ITS are getting a lot of money. There is an urgent need to think about the dignity of labor in this country. We are undermining certain professions, and we are thinking that only certain professions are suitable for our children. For instance, the reality says that a plumber, an electrician, and a mason, they are earning more than 1 lakh rupees, whereas the principals of these institutions who are heading, they are not getting even 50% of what they are earning. The basic problem here is that we are not having any respect for the dignity of labor. We undermine the electrician, we undermine the mason, we undermine the plumber, and so on. Skill education doesn't mean that these are the categories of the people only available and these are the skills that they have to acquire. There are many fields available in skill education as per the choice of the child. But that is not being taught in the schools. And from the school, when we talk about the revolution of this market in China, the education, they start skill education right from the primary level itself, and therefore it has captured the global market today. But in India, we have not started even at the secondary stage. Now the NSQF is in place, the National Skill Qualification Framework, and thank God to the government of India that this framework assures the vertical mobility of the child, and there are multiple exits and entries according to this framework, and the child is allowed to go take part in whatever the field that they like. The choice of the child is taken care of in that particular thing. And there is a lot of mismatch going on between the industry and the academia. Academia is not able to interact with the industry, and at the same time, industry doesn't have much time to look into the academic institutions and all. And these are the areas which we need to look into very immediately. Technology plays a very vital role in the skill education. And digital education is also plays a very significant role in the skill education. And I remember Francis Benjamin says that, teach me, I remember, and involve me, I learn. So if simply the teacher teaches in the classroom, the student is not able to learn much. So involvement of the child in skill education, in practically oriented and scientific oriented activities will help the child to learn and involve themselves. Every child must be able to acquire certain skill of his own choice, so that there are a lot of dropouts in this country. So when the dropouts are there, they are not able to do anything at all. Even for mere pass of a class 10 doesn't ensure the child to become an employee. But if the skill is provided at a class 9 and 10 level, or 8th class, 9th class, and 10th class level itself, when this child, by compulsion, becomes a dropout, then he could be able to employ himself or become an entrepreneur or join some company with the skills that he has acquired during the school times. And we need to target the rural population. when we talk about the innovations, when we talk about this digitalization, when we talk about the ICT and IT, the most important factor that we need to address is the bridging of the gap between the urban and the rural area. And secondly, we have the technology, but the technology is misused in these educational institutions. And there also, there is a biggest problem that is being created. Technology is meant for both good and bad, but this needs to be taught in the schools itself, even to the teachers also, in what way they can best make use of this technology for the betterment of the child and also for the betterment of learning. And sensitization of the training programs for the technology is very, very essential for the teachers as well as the students. And SKPs, the skill knowledge providers, there are a lot of SKPs available in this country, those who are specialized and those who are expertise in certain fields, but unfortunately there is no linkage between the academic institutions and these SKPs. And these SKPs must be encouraged to a certain extent so that they have a strong relationship between the academic institutions, and therefore they could be able to give something, some strength to the academic institutions. And I will, because the time constraint is there, and I will take only a few minutes to show what initiatives that the CBSE has taken in the field of this education. Very quickly, I'll go through that. And these are some of the initiatives that we have taken. The one is the life skills education. And we have introduced this life skill education in class, say from class 6 onwards. There are emotional skills, the behavioral skills, attitudinal skills, and these skills are included in these life skills. And we have the evaluation through the grades also. There's a continuous and comprehensive evaluation. Earlier, the system was entirely different, the year-end examination. But today we have, for the secondary classes, that up to class 10, that the children are involved in assessment for the formative 1 and formative 2 to formative 4, and 10 marks each at the school level itself, where the child is continuously assessed by the teacher. And we have environmental education. We have introduced this environment education as a compulsory subject from class 1 onwards. The child is expected to know what is this environment and all, and at least 2 periods are prescribed for that. And we have prepared some materials also for this environmental education from CBSE side. And a handbook for the teachers also has been prepared to empower the teacher to teach in a better way. And we have the mathematics laboratory in schools. And this is a compulsory for all the schools. And we have introduced this right from 2002 to 3. And we have a manuals of mathematics laboratory and all. We have the domestic practicals also. And the very aim is to remove the fear for mathematics amongst the children. Because children are afraid of mathematics, and therefore, if a mathematics laboratory is created, and it doesn't require much space, it doesn't require much money also to start this laboratory, and the concepts of the basic fundamentals of the mathematics are going to be displayed in the laboratory, where the child is exposed to these equipment and all, right from the beginning of the academic career. And we have this mathematics laboratory will provide a conducive ambience for the students, and these are various the benefits that the child derives out of the mathematics. And we have the alternatives to homework. And we are very conscious that we have introduced the concept of this from class 3 to 5, and the manuals are prepared because we don't want the child to be burdened with the homework based upon the curriculum. We move away from the curriculum, beyond the curriculum, and prepare a very joyous, very joyful and cheerful homework assignments that the child is assessed in. Only the positive things are taken while assessing the child. And the science through activities, in order to develop some kind of a scientific temperament amongst the children, right from the primary stage itself. And we do encourage the children to learn science through simple activities and the domestic practicals, where every day in our house itself, the children are taught how to make some experimentation and also learn from that. And we have the continuous and comprehensive evaluation. And this is the assessment of we have at the primary level, but the secondary level also. And at the primary level, we have from class 3 to class 5, where the child is exposed to the continuous comprehensive evaluation and the grading has been given on the 5-point scale, whereas at the secondary level, the grading has been given at a 7-point scale. And we have this grading of a 5-point scale for the primary level. These are the grading parameters. And we have the formative and the summative assessments. Summative assessment is aimed at assessing the performance of the child with the pen and paper tested at the end of the half year or at the end of the academic year. Whereas the formative assessment aims at assessing the performance of the child continuously, maybe on monthly basis, and 4 formative assessments would be there. And this is the grading for the 7-point scale. And empowerment of the teachers also we take care of, and a new syllabus, new courses, and a new approach in pedagogy, and extensive and continuing training of the teachers. And we extend help for the training of the teachers very frequently. And we also look into the empowerment of the heads of the institution, those who are very important leaders who play a very vital role in the development of the educational institutions. And therefore, we do train them and also retrain them as per the need, and strategic leadership also has been provided with the various other institutions, and we keep the heads of the institutions to continuously train and develop some kind of positive attitude towards the school situation. And we have some of the activities that are Maths Olympiad we conduct with the National Informatic Olympiad also, and we also conduct some national science exhibitions at the national level, a quiz program, Heritage India quiz, essay competitions, and so on. And there are incentives even for the higher achievers also. Those who are the meritorious students are given some scholarships by the board for pursuing their higher studies of engineering and other studies. And we give some merit scholarships also for pursuing professional courses, as well as the single girl child in class 11. And we have competition to promote innovation and creativity, the national competition for technological innovation and traditional knowledge exclusively for school students. And we also, the National Innovation, along with the National Innovation Foundation in Ahmedabad, collaborate in this venture. And we have adolescent education programs where the child's psychology is very, very important. When the child grows from pre-adolescent to the adolescent, there are certain problems which need to be addressed in the co-educational institutions. And therefore, we sensitize the children on this aspect of the adolescent education. And we also have a system of Sahodaya complex, where the aim of this Sahodaya complex is the group of institutions in a cluster level, they form together and help each other in whatever the areas they want help from the other institutions. It is not a CBSE-owned body, but it is some kind of a unity that is formed with a group of schools of that particular area to share the knowledge as well as help each other in whatever the areas that they can. And we have the comprehensive school health program as well. So health issues and well-being of the wellness of the health and wellness of the students are being addressed by forming some health clubs in the schools. And we are also strengthening the system of education in the primary classes. We need the best attention, and therefore, and we are making certain projects where the learning can be very joyful in the primary stage. And no school bag for the class 1 and 2. And no homework for children for class 1 and 2, and alternatives to homework has been introduced in from class 3 to 5, and the continuous and comprehensive evaluation up to class 5, extending up to class 8 in the phased manner, and now we have in the secondary for class 9 and 10 as well, and the gradual withdrawal of the pass and fail system so as to remove the stress from the child, and classroom library is introduced to help the child who come to the school without books, and greater importance and encouragement to learning the music, dance, and art, and other co-curricular activities are being encouraged. And role of the principals is very important for de-stressing the students, because the students are exposed to a lot of stress during the examinations and also the peer pressure. And the principals are trained in such a way that they take care of this de-stressing aspect of the children in their particular schools. And we have the conducive school environment. They should provide the right ambience, and therefore, it is not possible for an environment in the field of fear and distress, and therefore to remove this fear, to remove this distress among the teachers as well as the students, we do have certain programs. And then we have safety in schools. This is safety and security is of utmost importance that we give. And today we had a presentation by Mr. Gautam that he has taken us to a little forward from the CCTV cameras and all. And we do instruct the schools that safety and security of the child must be given utmost importance. And we have the fire safety, structural safety, earthquake management, stampede prevention, and landslide management, and the safety from industrial pollution and so on, electrical safety and all, what kind of safety that is required. And this also is being taught through the specialized teachers in the schools. And these are the future paradigms to make the curriculum transaction experiential so that children can connect their learning with the life outside. Because the curriculum, whatever the curriculum that we are providing today, is not able to provide any kind of usefulness, utility for the children when they come out of the shackles of this institution. They must be able to stand independently, and they must be able to come out with a kind of attitude that they should be prepared to adjust with the given situation. The given situation is that whatever the situation that is given, the child must be able to, because real life experiences are very, very important, rather than developing the curriculum on one side and getting only knowledge. Knowledge alone is not sufficient today. Knowledge, along with the knowledge, wisdom is also very, very important. The application of mind is important for every child, and these aspects are also being taken care of. And thank you very much, because he is very angrily looking at me. So. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity to ILAIDS as well as the government of